Okay, folks, what I want to give you is out of the Apocrypha. I bought this for $7 for the copy. The last time I checked, they were $12, and that was about 4 years ago. So I've had this for a little while, and it is dog-eared up, highlighted up. And I want to point out 2 Esdras, chapter 11. I'm going to read the whole chapter to you and a little bit from the next chapter. Why? Because this is a book that's not readily available to most of you, and you need to understand this. Daniel the prophet described the beast system, and you've got the 4 different animals, different manifestations. And those we pretty much understood. They started with Babylon. They went all the way up, and actually it was all Babylon. They went all the way up through Alexander the Great, the leopard. We've got several animals mentioned, 4 different animals, if you will. We have a giant statue of a man that was also very important. And the key feature of it was it had a gold head, but at the bottom there were clay feet. The toes were miry clay intermixed with iron. In other words, 2 different diverse kinds that would not unite and could not form a base, a union. Very symbolic. But at the end of the book of Daniel, Daniel's told, shut it up, close it up. Do not write about this other stuff I just showed you. It's for another time. And so it's like, well, when was that time? When did that occur? Well, that occurred during the diaspora. Well, the captivity is what I really should call it, because the diaspora is still going on. The diaspora was the northern house of Israel being dispersed across the nations of the earth, which is where we are today still. And yet the captivity was when the southern half of the kingdom, or the southern part, what was left after it, after the Assyrians got done with the northern part, and Jerusalem in particular, were hauled into captivity in Babylon. Esdras is the Latinized version of the name Ezra. There is a book of Ezra in the Bible proper. This is 2 Esdras. So if the book of Ezra in the Bible is 1, this actually should be book 3. There is a 1 Esdras. So there's 3 books that we have from Ezra in the Bible total. This is really small print, so bear with me and I'll do my best for you. Chapter 11. Then saw I a dream, and behold, then came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings, and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together. And I beheld, and out of her feathers there grew other contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small. But her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers, and reigned upon the earth, and over them that dwelt therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her. No, not one creature upon earth. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose up upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, Watch not all at once. Sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course. But let the heads be preserved for the last. Lo, and I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose 1 feather, and reigned over all the earth. And so it was that when it rained, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up and reigned, and had a great time. And it happened that when it rained, the end of it came also like as the first, so that it appeared no more. Then came there a voice unto it and said, Hear, thou that thou hast borne rule over the earth so long, that I say unto thee, before thou beginnest to appear no more, there shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof. Then arose the third, and reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. So won it with all the residue, one after another, as that every one reigned, and then appeared no more. Then I beheld, and lo, in the process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they might rule also, and some of them ruled. But within a while they appeared no more. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then I saw that 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side, and the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves and to have the rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but shortly it appeared no more. And the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also in themselves to reign. And when they so thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest, namely, it was in their midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. And then I saw that the 2 other heads were joined with it. And behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the 2 feathers under the wing that would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and bare rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression. And it had the governance of the world more than all the other wings that had been. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings. But there remained the 2 heads, which also in that sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwelt therein. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was on the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, Look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, it was a roaring lion, chased out of the wood. And I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, Hear thou, I will talk with thee. And the highest shall say unto thee, Art thou not it that remainest of the 4 beasts, whom I made to reign my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the 4th came, and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit, that for the earth hast not judged, for the earth thou hast not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, and all that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. It's the end of chapter 11. I'm going to go into chapter 12 and just try to go a little bit into it. There's an important thing reported here. I have to admit, as I read this, it's different than what I remember it being. I'm going to tell you right now, the three heads are very understandable. People have tried to make it the United States of America. No. It's much bigger than the United States of America. The three heads are the three cities that rule the earth today. The biggest one being Rome. Then the one, and I'm going to assume it's the one on the left, is basically the city of London. Not London proper in England, mind you, but the city of London, which is a small, separate nation within the bigger city of London. The city of London is the banking city owned by the Rothschilds and the Crown, the corporation that rules England to a large extent. And of course, the other head, the right head, I'm going to assume, is Washington, D.C., the enforcers for the entire beast system that reigns on the earth right now. So this is the three-headed eagle. That much I can give to you. But these wings and the feathers, I really could use some help on. Chapter 12. I'll try not to go too far into this. And it came to pass, while the lion spake these words unto the eagle, I saw. And behold, the head that remained and the four wings appeared no more, and the two went unto it and set themselves up to reign, and their kingdom was small and full of uproar. And I saw, and behold, they appeared no more, and the whole body of the eagle was burnt, so that the earth was in great fear. Then awakened I out of the trouble and trance of my mind, and from great fear, and said unto my spirit, Lo, this hast thou done unto me, in that thou searchest out the ways of the highest. Lo, yet I am weary in my mind, and very weak in my spirit. And little strength is there in me, for the great fear wherewith I was affrighted this night. Therefore I will now beseech the highest, that he will comfort me unto the end. And I said, Lord, thou bearest rule. If I have found grace in thy sight, and if I am justified with thee before many others, and if my prayer indeed be come up before thy face, comfort me then, and show me, thy servant, the interpretation and plain difference of this fearful vision, that thou mayest perfectly comfort my soul. For thou hast judged me worthy to show me the last times. And he said unto me, This is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest came up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another. whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12. And this do the wings signify which thou sawest. As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and thou sawest go out, not to go out the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation. That after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning. And whereas thou sawest the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation. That in the time there shall arise 8 kings, whose time shall be but small, and their years swift. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. The 4 will be kept until their end begin to approach, but 2 shall be kept unto the end. And whereas thou sawest 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. In the last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, and renew many things therein, that they shall have the dominion of the earth, and of those that dwell therein, with much oppression, above all that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall accomplish this wickedness, and that shall finish his last end. And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signifieth that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. And for the 2 heads that remain shall be slain with the sword. War. For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself. And whereas thou sawest 2 feathers under the wings, passing over the head that is on the right side, it signifies that these are they whom the highest hath kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom, and full of trouble, as thou sawest. I have to undog-ear the page. Oh boy, I guess this has been sitting on the shelf for a few months. Continuing in chapter 31 of 12 Esdras, the second book of Esdras. And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood and roaring and speaking to the eagle and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou hast heard, this is the anointed, which the highest hath kept for them and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them. For the rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy, those that have been preserved upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful until the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. I'm going to cover this again in a more modern English version so that you can hear it one more time. I feel this is an important book that's been hidden from you. The Catholics have it in their Bible, the Douay-Rheims Bible. They don't call it the Apocrypha, the 14 books. They call it the Deuteronomical canonical text or something like that. They got a real fancy name for it. I should know it. I've been meaning to get a hold of one of the copies of the Bible, their Bible, to see what the differences might be. But this is what was put in the original King James Bible, which we no longer have. And it appears as though it may be from, the source of it may be from the Latin Vulgate. I'm not sure about that. I'd love to look into that and produce a modern version. May Yahweh bless. This is number 32. It's going to take a while to upload this one. I think it's worth having. Yahweh bless you.